Hey guys, so I wasn't planning on this being my next video, but it just dawned on me that this is my natural hair anniversary, November 17th. And wow, it's been 22 years since I've let go of the relaxer. I went natural in 2003, and even though it's over 20 years ago, I remember what happened. So I started rocking relaxers. Had my first perm at 9. Kept that up until I was 19. I was a sophomore in college. I don't remember exactly when in 2003, but I read this article. It's one of those like black hair magazines that I always kept up with. And Takia Crystal Keyma, who was an actress and comedian, she was featured in the article, and she was talking about natural hair. And she's one of, like, at that time especially, one of the rare actresses like in mainstream media that was wearing her natural hair or natural hairstyles, but it was her natural hair. Like, she didn't have a relaxer. And she talked about embracing your natural hair texture, curl pattern, whatever. And she said quite a few things that when I read it, I was like, I see where you're coming from, but I knew the seed was being planted because, or I should say, I know now that was the seed that was planted, because even though I tried to fight against it mentally, I knew it was right. Especially when she broke it down, the reasons why we don't wear our hair why we don't wear our hair natural, like whether it's heat straightening or relaxers. So eventually I just succumbed to it. I was like, this is the truth. This is the truth. And I made the decision to go natural. The wisest thing I ever done was not tell anybody because I knew that I had the curl pattern that is not usually coveted, right? So I knew if I told people that I wanted to go natural, I would be discouraged from it. So, but I had the plan all in my head. Okay, this was over the summer. Okay, that's when it was. It was over the summer. So, in college, usually you finish your school year in May. And I was about to go into my sophomore year. So my plan was, okay, I'm going to get, my hair freshly done, to start off my sophomore year. So that was August. And I actually decided to have it cut to a bob, just to speed up the process. Because my original plan was to transition. I was going to wear like braids or twists, extensions, and have a significant amount of growth. And then I'll do the big chop. I did not make it past 3 months. I ended up going natural in November. So I felt like I had enough growth, although it would be very short. It was like 1.5 inches hair. So I went into the bathroom and I went snip, 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 snip. And you had that initial shock, like that first chunk of hair that you cut off, and you're like, oh my God. And I did it. I came out my bathroom, because I had my own bathroom at the time, shared with a roommate, and I know she was shocked. And I was like, okay, now I have to go to class tomorrow and everybody's gonna see me. So I got a mixture of comments. Some were pleasant, some were not so pleasant. The most negative comments definitely were from my own. Disappointing, but not surprising given the history, right? Yeah, but it's still one of the best decisions I've ever made for myself. I do not regret it one bit. A relaxer has not touched my head since then. Only chemical is hair color that I let it touch. And even now, I'm just gonna let my gray grow in. As you can see, it's pretty, it's there. And now I'm starting to get like salt and pepperish in the back, which I'm embracing. But yeah, it's been a journey. And I can't ever see myself, like, of course I'll blow dry it. I do blow dry it. I have flat ironed it at times, but I don't make it like the straight natural thing. Not really. For me, not really. Because for me, it wasn't just about relaxers. It was the main part was embracing my hair entirely. Embracing the thickness of it, embracing the medium to coarse part of it, embracing the 4B, even though I don't really get into the curl typing thing, but just to give you an idea how tight my curl pattern is, I embrace all that. it is what it is. It's what I've been given and I love it. And all you can do is work with it. Work with it. We have our own likeness, our own image. So embrace what has been given to you. It can be political, and in ways it is very political. But for me, it was more about the aesthetic than the no chemicals thing. Although there has been studies that have been shown that there's a link to uterine problems and relaxers. And I'm like, oh, okay, now y'all say that 20 years later. I'm glad that came out nonetheless. But, you know, who I can thank is, besides Takia Crystal Kima, thank you, is Naturality. I believe it's still around because I haven't done like message boards besides Reddit. I haven't done it, you know, in a long time. But yeah, that was like sealing the deal. Like Takia Crystal Kima planted that seed, grew, and Naturality blossomed. And it was like a form of repentance. Like my mind was changed and never went back. So we can give thanks to Decoily. And she was serious, let me tell you. She was not tolerating defining your curls or curl definition. She won't talk about heat styling, none of that. Because she knew, given the programming, given the conditioning that we have been getting throughout the decades, centuries about our hair, she knew not to have those conversations, those topics, because it will just sway you back to almost the relaxer side. It also ushers in the whole good hair thing, and so she wasn't having it. And I'm so glad, you know, there were people who were against it because they thought it was too strict, but I completely understood why. Because if you look at it now, look at what the natural hair community is now. Now, this is not to say that, you know, nobody is natural anymore. Obviously there are, but in terms of mentality, like I'm beginning to see resurgence of relaxers. Your choice, but it's just very interesting to see. I'm also seeing hair product companies, lots of gels, lots of slick down products, edge control, curl defining, all this stuff geared to elongating the coils and defining them. And I'm just like, even with, you know, influencers or bloggers, like look at who got the most attention, the most feedback. It's not those with this. Even though, you know, we had our pioneers who had the tighter hair textures, who did have their own audience, right? But in terms of like who blew up, it was a particular hair type. I don't know, like the content creators themselves, they get the blame for it, but I don't think they can get blamed for it because they can only get popularity with who's giving them the popularity. And many of the time, the women that gave them the popularity, they don't have the same hair type. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? But all of this grew to what it is today. And it's disappointing to see, but you know what? Their choices are not my choices. So that has nothing to do with me being natural because like I said, this is for life and I embrace my hair for what it is. It's not always easy. It's easier definitely today. Like I said, this is all social conditioning. This is programming. So you have to deprogram. You have to think opposite. Okay? Start with, my hair isn't straight. And it might seem like a duh type of thing, but no. Once you fully embrace that part, your hair care will be much easier because you cannot treat your hair like your hair is straight. That's why the comb is hard to get through. It's your technique. Why are you combing your hair like your hair is straight if your hair is not straight? You know? So I say all that to say, this has been a journey. I have learned so much about my hair. Currently, I'm on a hair growth journey. So I am doing the least with my hair while taking care of it because I believe in routinely, you know, cleansing, conditioning, moisturizing, or hydrating, whatever words you want to use, and just let it be. Don't fight it. Don't do crazy things to it. If you're gonna color, find a reputable colorist. Or hair colorist, because colorists can be You know what I mean? Yeah, find someone that is skilled, knows what they're doing, but be careful, even with heat styling. I'm not anti-blow drying, especially if you want to get trims or if you need to put it in styles like this, like braids or twists, whatever. But, you know, make sure you get that heat protectant. Yeah. I'm one of those, what you call naturals, and that comes from naturality too. So there's a natural and there's a natural. And for those who have been with naturality before, I mean, even Curl Talk, and actually Curl Talk, there was an exodus from Curl Talk to naturality because, you know, there was a niche that was not spoken about. Remember how I talked about olive skin? You know, so there's that remnant that was not paid attention to, and definitely nappy hair. I know that word is still uncomfortable for a lot of people, but I'm like, it is what it is. Nappy is, I don't feel the same way a lot of people feel about nappy hair. The term nappy hair. I think it's a lot deeper as to why people who are uncomfortable with the word. So yeah, there's that. There's so many things I could talk about, but I think I'll do like a series discussing things about natural hair and or natural hair, you know. There's so much to say. But yeah, happy 22nd anniversary to me. Been loving this journey. I really believe that, you know, going natural was part of embracing who I am, my individuality, and I will never go back. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the video that is scheduled. This is a hint. All right.